Hello, welcome back to my channel, Silver Thread Sewing. I'm Diane. So I wanted to pop on for just a minute and talk to you about my sewing machine. I had watched a video, I think last night, from Michelle Sews Again, and I will link to her channel below in that video if I can figure out how. I think I know how. She is in the process of purchasing a new sewing machine. And she started a hashtag, and I think it's sewing machine must-haves, I think is the hashtag, but I will put that on the screen and also in the description box. She had tagged a specific person to do a video talking about their machine, but she also kind of posted it generally that if anybody wanted to participate, they could do so by using that hashtag. And it might, it's just kind of an information thing about machines and about if you're thinking about upgrading or if you think you need to or want to, or, just for information. I never really usually participate in things like that because I don't consider myself to be any kind of an advanced sewist. I don't consider myself to be an expert on anything, but I do have quite a bit of experience with sewing machines and with the different features and some of the different problems because I've had a lot of problems over the years. So I know Michelle had talked about Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. She recently purchased a Pfaff machine. I think hers might be the Creative Icon. It's several steps above this one, and it's amazing from what she showed in her video. And Jen had made the statement that having a fancy new machine does not make you a better sewist. It does not suddenly make you professional. If you weren't before, you're not going to be after getting a new machine. I feel like, however, in some instances, maybe a better quality machine or one that does specific things better or more predictably, I think that makes us not better, but it makes the quality of our sewing in some instances better. For instance, if you struggle or your sewing machine struggles making buttonholes, buttonholes usually come at the end of a garment after we've done all the construction and we have this beautifully finished garment, and here we start making seams and cutting holes, and it's kind of terrifying a little bit if you think about it. And if you know that your machine just does not do well with multiple layers, it doesn't do well stitching the buttonhole, then you kind of dread that process because your machine struggles to make buttonholes. So I think not only can it make that process easier sometimes, but it makes it more enjoyable for us as sewists. I've never known if you say sewist or sewer because sewer and sewer are spelled the same. So yeah. So if you sew and if you get a new machine, it's not going to suddenly make you know how to do a blind hem or suddenly make you know how to do a flat fill seam. I'm talking about myself here. Anything that I didn't know how to do when I got this machine, unless I've learned it since then, I still couldn't do it when I got the machine. But this machine has, for me, made things easier. Some things, and I'll explain. I have rheumatoid arthritis. My hands get fatigued really easily, and I have a lot of stiffness and a lot of pain in my joints, as well as my neck, shoulder, my back. I get tired a lot easier. And I also am type 1 diabetic. And no, this is not a complaint video. I'm just stating the facts, basically. I've had my first diabetic bleed in my eye, so my vision is distorted some in this eye. It's better with my glasses, a whole lot, but I still have to have a lot of light and kind of compensate for that in different ways. At night, I can't sew as well, especially on dark fabric. So I'll tell you a few of the features about this little machine that I do appreciate and that have made a difference, but just know that I'm not trying to advocate that you need a new sewing machine or that that everybody should upgrade their machine, or just, I'm not saying that, because this was it was a hardship really for me to have this machine. If I couldn't have paid for it, you know, in payments, I couldn't have gotten the machine. But I was able to do that, and I'm happy with it, and I'm grateful for it. But there's also another video that I have watched in the last couple days. It's Claire from Penguin and Pear, and she talks about being a sewing minimalist and how we don't need all the bells and whistles, and we don't necessarily need all the patterns and all the fabric and all the notions. We can be very good at what we do and be very talented at sewing without buying all the things. And I agreed with that. I agreed with that 100%. You know, I certainly have more fabric than I ever intended to have at one time, and more patterns, and you know, find that I go to the same, kind of stick to the same ones over and over and over again. So, so just take that as my opinion on this machine and my experience with it, but I'm not advocating that anyone needs to upgrade or spend a lot of money for a sewing machine, because if you're happy with your machine, no matter its age, if it works well and you're happy with it, that's all that matters. So this machine has a lot of features that some I don't even know myself yet. But one of the things that helps me a lot with my arthritis and my hands is it does not have, if you can see that, it does not have a presser foot lifter. Nowhere behind it, nowhere on the side. This is totally computerized, and you raise and lower. I hope that's to where you can see it. You raise it and lower it here from these buttons. So if I lower my presser foot, that's just like any other foot would lower. Where you would normally lift your presser foot just a little bit to maybe arrange your fabric or move it just a little bit, you press this button one time, and it raises it just the tiniest little bit, enough to arrange your fabric. And then if I press it, the top button one time, it raises it the normal amount. And if I press that raise button again, it raises it even more. And that's part of the quilting feature. It makes it really easy to get thicker quilts and thicker things under the presser foot. And I find that I use that a lot, and my hand doesn't get nearly as tired not having to lift that lever up as much. It has the automatic needle threader that works really well, and it also has the automatic thread snips, and it will cut your thread. I'm just real briefly going to go over this stuff that helps me, because there's tons of tutorials and information online if you're interested in any of that. This machine will also do a couple things that help me with vision. It's got really good lighting, although I still have to bring in more light, especially if I'm sewing late in the day. There's not much natural light down here. But it has a sensor that when light can pass through the bobbin, it will tell you that you're low on bobbin thread. Now, it doesn't stop it immediately. It will let you keep sewing for a little while. You have a little excess thread on these bobbins, and you're able to, I've been able to finish my seams even after it tells me that the bobbin thread is low. So that has been very helpful, because it's one less thing I have to worry about watching for to run out. It also has, it has a sensor up here that notices when light can pass through a certain point and you're low on thread. So it doesn't it stops the machine actually when the thread up here runs out. I'm usually pretty good about noticing my top thread, but my bobbin thread I'm not. And I've sewed many a seam with no bobbin, so that has helped tremendously. It has a large area here, like I said, for quilts. That helps a whole lot, and I don't have to, try to roll everything up as tight if I'm quilting. So I'm trying to think if that's the main things that it does that are helpful. There's probably some more things. The drop-in bobbin is great. Also, the needle plate, that's another thing. Instead of having to take my screwdriver and try to maneuver and unscrew the the screws that hold the needle plate on, this just pops out. I can just take my little screwdriver, I take the top off my bobbin cover, take out the bobbin, take the corner of a screwdriver, and that just flips out. You can get in there to clean your machine a lot easier. I don't have to worry about all the screwdrivers and trying to maneuver the plate off. So that's another thing that helps tremendously, is being able to pop this plate off. It also has the free arm that this whole thing just slides off. It has one-step buttonhole. The feed dogs move back and forth as well as side to side, so that's a big help. I don't know of anything else. It has all the stitches and things up here. You know, it's very clear and concise with, you know, you can scroll between the menus, and, you know, it also has a button feature that drops your feed dogs automatically, and I have a little button foot that I put on, and it will sew your buttons on. Of course, you still have to align your button and make sure that the needle's going to go through the holes of your button. You can change the width as you need to, but that's a big help too. That made things a lot easier for me. So that's just a few little things about this machine that I find helpful. I've just really enjoyed having it. Is it necessary? No, I can make do just fine. I have my Juki DX7. It is a really sturdy little machine. It doesn't have quite all the features that this one has, but I can still use it just fine. But this one, I thought I would just kind of show you a few of the things that help me, since I do have some challenges that maybe other people might have, and ways that this machine has kind of helped me to improve the quality of what I sew. Anyway, hope you're getting to work on something good, and I hope that you're having a good week. And I just wanted to pop on in reference to the hashtag that Michelle started. So I hope that's okay, and I hope you got a little something out of it that maybe you can use. And if you're looking to upgrade your machine or change machines, I would recommend that you always, if possible, buy from a dealer, because that way, if there is a problem, or if you need service or maintenance or whatever, you have somewhere physically to take that machine into. Ordering online, I don't know that you can order a FOF online. You may be able to, but I wouldn't recommend it, because now my Singer, I ordered it online when I got it, and there was a couple problems with it, and I had to pay to ship it back to where I ordered it from, and I got in a mess with that one for a while. So it's a big decision, and it's a lot of money to spend on something that for me is a hobby more than a necessity. But now that I have it, I'm thrilled with it and enjoy it. So hope that helped you in some way, and just keep right on sewing and creating, and remember, you'll never be a failure as long as you keep trying. Bye.